But that Rammus doesn't have a huge amount of hit points, and Rammus' strength is in his armor. So against someone like a Kassadin, he's actually kind of weak, unless he starts stacking magic resist. Now, one thing to note with Kassadin is really important that he picked up that ruby crystal, because if he hadn't, he would have died earlier when he went in for the kill on Ashe. The extra health allows him to tower dive, which appears to be a real strength for Kassadin. Teleporting in, getting off the kill, and then getting out before the tower finishes you off does require a certain amount of health. Looks like Jax is coming after him, but I don't think Jax has any help. With Ashe there, that helps. Now, he is able to use his Rift Walk. Jukes the Ashe arrow. That is very key. Now, he's still slowed, but his Rift Walk is back up. He has full leisure about blinking through a wall, and he hasn't done it because he was bringing them over here to get killed by his teammates. Drops an AoE, does huge damage, and slows Ashe. A grab by Blitzcrank on Jax, although I'm pretty sure Jax is dead regardless. That was a very nice job by Kassadin here, leading the enemy directly to his teammates. If he had needed to, he could have just gone to any wall and Rift Walked through it to get away, just like any Flash. But that was really, really well executed. That was about teamwork. Very, very well done. Kassadin's a little bit low here because he's taking the beats from Cho'Gath. Too bad he couldn't stay. Cho'Gath didn't have a huge amount of help, but everyone was kind of weak, and I don't think anyone was willing to start attacking Cho because the tower would have done a considerable amount of damage here. Now, he was about to recall out, but an engagement started there, and Jaina got really low, but she did a really nice job blowing her ultimate. Smack's really low. Does he have enough mana for a Rift Walk? He does, but the cooldown's up, and okay, he's okay. And the question is, he's really low. I'm not sure he's going to be able to engage here unless they get really close. The problem is one lucky skill shot is going to be all it takes. He predicts that Ashe is going to launch her arrow this way and jumps through the wall to make sure that he was not at risk. Pretty smart. Taking a nice shortcut here. Very cool use of Rift Walk. And I'm very curious to see what items he's going to pick up next. So he's got the Sorcerer's Shoes. And what else? Stop typing and buy your items. Can't even read your text. Amijay's Soul Stealer. Yes, I think that's really big on Kassadin. Any type of ganky type characters, you want to be you're trying to get those kills for yourself, especially if the game's going well at all. And the Leviathan, I've seen this build on a lot of different characters, and I've seen it on Kassadin before. Really good. If you've got a kind of an edge and he's got a few kills under his belt right now, things are going well. The best way to make sure to capitalize on that so it doesn't stop going well is to get those snowball items. You're probably in a position where you're almost certainly guaranteed the ability to get 1 or 2 kills without getting yourself killed as long as you're playing smart. And this will allow you to continue to be a threat into the late game. Because like I said, I feel that Kassadin late game loses some of his power. But if you've managed to build these items up and snowball yourself to be a powerhouse, you can virtually one-man the game at that point in terms of just killing people, killing just about anyone. It looks like he was thinking about engaging there and then hesitated. I think he's waiting for Jax to come forward. Now, the concern at this point is who else might be around. It's interesting that he's just got his cone attack built up, or not built up necessarily, but just he had it ready to cast. I don't think he's going to want to engage these two guys. He drops his cone to slow them. Yeah, he did. And then walks away. Again, he's got that Rift Walk there as an escape. Trying to drop a Null Sphere on... come on. God, my brain is mush. Just came back from a big vacation. Oh, why can't I find your name, alchemist dude? Singed. Wow, and all that, I missed some hell of an action. But he's able to, again, Rift Walk away. Now, if someone had Ignite, they'd be able to kill him a little bit more reliably. But it's possible the other team isn't packing any. And that's one of the things you really want to look at when you were, especially if you're doing the ranked play. You get the advantage. You know exactly what the other team is bringing. But even if you're not, even if you're blind picking, make sure your team has at least 1 or 2 ignites. It's really, really quite key. You obviously want it if the other team has a healer. But even if a blind play, even in blind play, or even if the other team doesn't have a healer, you'll want at least 1 or 2 ignites to kill those low health people whenever you can. It's really, really quite potent. It's also a good way to counter people who go with a lot of lifesteal items. So I'm going to have just a little bit of beer because I think that's going to help my commentary. It'll help me remember names like Singed, I think. Yeah, not really, but what the hell. Good stuff. Now, I'm really interested to see if he could do anything on Cho here. Cho has 1.5 million hit points. So opens up with the Null Sphere. Oh, Blitzcrank is here. Jaina is here. Gets the grab off. Yeah, okay, he's going to be able to get down. So I'm wondering if he would have been able to kill him off on his own. Cho would have had no way to really escape Kassadin's firepower. And the only question would have been, could Cho have gotten back to his tower before Kassadin finished him off? I don't know. Now, at this point, he's got 3 stacks on both his Mija Soul Stealer and his Leviathan, and he's picked up, interesting, a Giant's Belt. So he's going to be going for survivability. I guess the Mija is going to give him just enough AP to continue the killing streak, and his interest is going to be able to survive in one-on-one situations. With health tends to be one of the best ways to guarantee that. Help him survive in some of the group encounters, which are going to start to develop as the game goes into late phase, and it also helps to ensure that his snowball items keep charging. So if he doesn't die as often, he's going to keep charging those up. But it's interesting that even with the Leviathan, he still chooses the Giant's Belt. Now, it's possible that the Giant's Belt is being picked primarily for what it might build into. Is he going for a Rylaze? I think that might be a really good item on him because it would allow his Q and his ultimate ability to slow people down. Now, his E ability already does. And I'm looking at his skills right now. It does look like he has no points in his W spent, which is kind of what I predicted. Wow, big fight going on there. They are about to finish off Jax. Now, Jaina's taking a lot of damage. Okay, Kassadin's going to blink right back in to take out Ashe. And I think that Cho is going to get killed here if, yeah, he does manage to escape. With his rupture ability, but if not for that, I'm pretty sure he would have Kassadin would have been able to finish him off anyway. So right now you can see the strength of Kassadin being able to just obliterate these weaker characters because nice there too. Teleports in, hits him with his E ability to slow him down, and follows up with Q as well. That's like so much burst damage, and that's what I was saying. Kassadin comes in with so much burst damage. And he does it from a distance in that you don't expect it because he just blinks in on you and then unloads. So any caster can unload on you, but most of them have to be sort of within range to do it. Now, on the other hand, Kassadin's abilities are shorter range. At least his E and the damage from his ultimate are, but he is still able to reach you. So it's quite stunning. Compare it to an Annie or something like that, who can drop things at you from range, but doesn't have that surprise aspect the same way. So big engagement going off here. I don't think they killed Cho, which is too bad. Now Kassadin's in big trouble. Again, manages to blink away. And that's got to be so frustrating for the other team. Cass has so much health going on, and anytime he gets even a little bit low, he can just blink away. So he gets his AoE off on Singe there to slow him down. He got taunted. I think he's going to go down right here. Yes, he does. Wow. So he loses a bunch of stacks on his spells, on his items. Still, that was his first death. His score appears to be 7-1-2 right now. Things are going really well for Kassadin. Very interesting kind of tanky build. Like it so far. I really think that it's done very well for him. So here, nice tornado move. Oh, Jin Shao decides to hop in. Now, I'm not sure if his team was aware that was going to happen, but it doesn't matter. They're able to turn that around and rip him apart, despite starting from no health. Nice move right there. It's always very hard to make that decision when you're at low health if the right move is to run away or to engage. Okay, it looks like he is building a Riley's. Good to know. So Riley's is an item I'm quite fond of on a lot of casters. It's not something I would have thought of right away for Kassadin, since he does have the slow built into his E ability. But I guess it really helps to be able to drop a slow from just blinking in with his R right off the bat. And more importantly, probably, is being able to slow at a longer range with his Q ability. Because his cone attack is relatively short range compared to his Q, I believe. So this is going to help him much more reliably get get these ganks off. Now, this late in the game, I'm not sure how many ganks happen. I don't know. As always, folks, if you... Ooh, wow, that is one dead Blitzcrank. As I say, as always, folks, if you guys have suggestions about builds or anything like that for these characters, please don't hesitate to put them into the comments. Always good to see them. Everyone who wants to play a Kassadin will like to see your build ideas. You know, compare and contrast. There's very rarely a best build for anyone. Generally, it's best build for your style. But the more builds you're exposed to, the more likely you are to find one that works for you. So the enemy team there is pretty full health. Looks like we've got a couple of people here waiting in ambush in the bushes, but no one is playing along. Oh, looks like the enemy team is going to be pushing their bottom tower, so they're quickly trying to make their way up here. It looks like we've got Kassadin and Jin coming from the west, and Jaina and Blitz coming from the top, and they're going to try to squeeze in here. So Smackhoe is going to drop his Q, his W, or not, his E rather, and then teleport on top of them. Drops a lot of AoE damage. So I was saying that Kassadin's not that great in teamfights, but I've just realized he's got two really decent AoE abilities. It does require him to be at very point-blank range, and that's not good, but as long as he can survive 4 seconds and is able to blink out again, I guess it works out for him. So getting the extra tanky item is pretty good. There he leaps in on top of Cho. It turns out to be not strictly necessary because Blitzcrank has got him, but they're able to finish him off too, and I say at this point the game is almost certainly over. It's been very, very one-sided at this point, I think, at least from our point of view. So Kassadin's been doing extremely well, getting lots of kills, feeding himself up early, now has 8 stacks on both of his items. I think that's pretty potent. So let's think about his build. He went Doran's Ring, Boots 1, then the Amplifying Tome, and Ruby Crystal. So he got both of the items necessary to build the snowball items, but didn't go for the snowball items right away. So it's an interesting decision. Now, it's possible he didn't have enough gold to do it, but I think he did. I think he could have just gone and gotten his Mijays right away. Or Magi's, as some people say. I say Mijays because that's the way it looks like it's spelled. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think he may have had the gold to buy one of the snowball items right away, but he decided to go for the more balanced build of getting the AP and the Ruby before completing the snowball item. And I think that was probably a good choice because I think the health really paid off for him. Huge gank on Ashe there. She was such in a bad position. The entire enemy team is MIA, and you're extended well past your own line. Bad idea, especially when you've got a ganker like Kassadin around who could easily just like blow all his mana rift walking to get to you before you can go back to your line. Like, very poor move, I think. Nice grab on Singe there, followed up by Null Sphere, not able to get the kill. Jax blinks in onto Blitz, so Blitz is low at this point, and the team is going to back up into the bushes here. Teemo's a little out of position. Are they going to go for him? They are, but this is going to be a little bit more of a bait than anything else. Just trying to pull him into the bushes. Now, if any of the enemy team moves forward a little bit more, I'm pretty sure they're just going to get obliterated as Kassadin rift walks on top of them. Jaina moves forward a little bit. I don't think they're going to take the bait. I don't know what's going to be happening now. It's sort of in a good position to push, I think. Having a Blitzcrank on your team is very nice because you can apply a lot of pressure to the tower, and the enemy is going to be really hard-pressed to defend it very well. Alright, folks, hopefully we are back with minimal interruption there. Just had something happen over at the house that forced me to stop the recording for a little bit, but hopefully we're back on track. Except that I'm actually getting echo from my own recording. Oh man, that's going to be annoying. Alright, let's try to live without it. Live with it and hope that we do okay. So, back to the action here. Yeah, so they're just putting around by this middle tower. And I think they could probably afford to be a little more aggressive because, see, Jaina can drop tornadoes to harass the other team and keep them back. Well, they might be able to gank Cho here. Oh, big fight in the bush. I think there's a big, huge mistake for the enemy team. Blitzcrank gets a grab off. We destroy Singed. Nice AoE by Kassadin, gets dropped in the bushes there onto onto Rammus, who then gets exploded by the